Guys, good evening and welcome to Cabe Theater for tonight's Playwright's Theater. At this time, would you please turn off your cell phone? It's courtesy to both yourself, your fellow audience members, and our cast. Don't eat it. Okay? Thank you so much. Tonight we will present a stage reading of a new play. The play was selected from the alumni and student winners of our annual Hendrix Murphy Playwriting Contest. 2017 marks our 31st year of our playwriting contest. Playwrights Theater began in 1999, so this is our 18th year, and we're really thrilled about that. The Department of Theater, Arts, and Dance would like to express our appreciation to Hendrix Murphy for these programs and the many other initiatives we enjoy as a result of our 40-year partnership. We also thank the Office of Alumni Relations for their support of Playwrights Theater. Tonight, an alumni and student cast will present the 2017 Student Playwriting Contest winner, the Immortal Cabe Stewart by Allison Price, class of 2017. This is the hard one. Immediately following the reading, Hendrix Murphy Playwriting Contest judge Sophia Weist will lead a short talkback. Sophia holds an MFA in writing for the stage and screen from Northwestern University, where she studied with Rebecca Gilman and currently teaches at St. John's University. Immediately following the talkback, please join our cast and playwright for a reception in the Mills lobby. You can help us improve our program by filling out the brief questionnaire in your programs and handing those to one of our ushers or placing it in a box at the center of the lobby. If you don't have a pencil, our ushers will be available during the talkback, and just raise your hand and they'll get you a pencil. And please pick up a brochure for our Hendrix Players 2017-2018 season. You can find those in the lobby as well. It's a great season. So, this is a very special weekend here on campus for our department, for the Murphy programs. Tomorrow, the Department of Theater, Arts, and Dance and Hendrix Murphy Foundation programs in Literature and Language will present 40-40-80, a celebration, to mark the 40th birthdays of Cabe Theater Arts Center, the Hendrix Murphy programs, and the 80th birthday of Dr. Rosemary Hindenburg, American Professor of Theater. And the inaugural director of the Hendrix Murphy programs. The event will begin at 4 p.m. tomorrow here in Cabe on our newly refurbished floor. Yeah. And we really hope you'll join us. So, thanks for coming and enjoy the show.
Lights up. Narrator is standing upstage right, smiling and looking at the audience. A well sits on the corner of the stage.
Once upon a time. That's a little overused. In a world a lot like, but not quite like Earth, at a time like the 1300s, Catherine Stewart grew up in a small village in a country like England called Regalia. She lived there with her evil stepfather and step-siblings for many years. Around the time of her mother's death, her step-family began forcing her to do chores while they lazed about the house. Thus, this continued for poor Katie for years until one day, her life changed forever.
Katie enters with a bucket in her hands.
Who in God's name are you talking to?
No one. You see,
And what are you doing in my yard?
I'm the narrator of your story. I'm in your yard to tell it.
Why?
I can only tell your story if I'm around you.
This sounds like an excuse to stalk me. Please leave.
Wait, I can make this worth your while. If you let me stay, I can give you the opportunity to leave your stepfamily forever.
How?
I'm telling your story because someone noteworthy is about to come to your door. Be kind to her and your greatest wish will be granted.
Why wouldn't I be kind to her?
Because you're trying to force me off your property. Now, be quiet. Here she comes.
Fairy godmother walks in, stumbling in with a cane. A blanket is covering her face.
Could someone be a dear and fetch me some water? These old bones are beginning to crack.
Oh, definitely. Please, sit down.
Katie goes to the well and fills the bucket.
And like the true hero she was, she began filling the bucket.
Who the hell? Who are you, dearie?
I'm the narrator.
Oh, of course.
Here you go. That should fix you up.
Thank you, dearie. Though really I'm fine, for I'm actually
Removes the blanket, revealing a fancy dress and fairy wings.
a fairy godmother.
And she removed her disguise, revealing herself to be a beautiful fairy godmother.
Oh, thank you. I'm here to save you from your life of housework. Your stepfamily has never treated you well, and you've spent years cleaning and cooking to try to make them happy while they laze about.
Oh, it's all right. I can handle it. It hasn't been the easiest life, but it's a life.
No, it's no trouble. It's a beautiful night, and your family's at the ball while you're here. Just make a wish, and you can leave this life behind forever.
A wish. Any wish? All right. I wish I was immortal, indestructible, and forever young.
A sound like a bell ringing to indicate the wish has been granted.
What? How is being immortal going to get you away from your stepfamily?
They won't have to feed me or provide for me if I'm immortal, so I can just walk out of here. Nothing can kill me.
You were supposed to wish to go to the ball. You fit all the qualifications. You clean without thanks, you help old ladies without a thought, and you have an evil stepmother and 2 evil stepsisters.
Stepfather, actually, along with 2 stepbrothers and 1 stepsister.
I was off on that too. Now who am I gonna get to marry that darn prince?
Try next door. There's a sweet and pretty girl close to my age with her stepfamily, which is a little worse than mine. She's a little dim, but she is one of the kindest people I've ever met. Just be sure to suggest she go to the ball and meet the prince.
Oh, thank you. I'll go find her.
Wait, am I still immortal?
Oh, the moment you made the wish, you became immortal. But I'll need the fairy queen's approval to let you keep it. She doesn't like surprises.
Actually, this was supposed to happen. That's why she assigned me here. I'm supposed to tell Katie's story as an immortal.
Oh, well, she earned a wish anyway. I better go. I'll be seeing you around. You too.
I'm looking forward to it. So the fairy godmother bestowed immortality upon Katie and went on her merry way.
So you knew this was going to happen?
Vaguely, I'm following around to tell the tale of your life as an immortal being.
So how long are you going to be telling my tale?
On and off for at least the next 700 years.
Darn it, you're immortal too?
Indeed I am. So is the godmother. It's our job to tell the stories of the denizens of this world, too, and in the godmother's place, make sure certain people become kings, queens, and heroes. I will be here with you the whole time, telling your story.
At least I won't be living forever alone.
It will be lonely at times.
What life isn't? I'm going to fetch my things and get out of here.
Katie leaves the bucket outside and goes off stage.
So, Katie decided to leave her home behind.
Katie comes back on stage carrying a bindle. She moves to the center and begins walking in place.
Katie began to travel. She spent most of her life doing chores for her stepfamily, and she'd never gotten to see the world around her. She hitchhiked across, going from town to town, learning to read and write in her free time, and doing chores to pay for meals and lodging. sleeping in whatever rundown lodging she could find.
You could work too.
I don't need to eat.
I don't either, but if you're going to constantly mooch off my meals, you should help me pay for them.
Fine. As the weeks passed, she traveled across multiple countries, but strange things seemed to be happening along her way.
What sort of things?
Getting to that. One day, she found herself fetching water from a well, minding her own business, when a strange and large frog hopped over to her.
Prince in a frog outfit begins hopping across the stage on all fours, like a frog.
Holy devil! That large frog's the size of a person.
That's because I'm not supposed to be a frog.
It talks? Get away from me, devil monster!
Now, Katie didn't realize it, but she was being a hypocrite, considering most people would think of immortality a sin against nature.
Hey,
He's right. How am I the devil monster if you're going to live forever? Isn't that against the natural order?
I suppose. But I've never seen anything like you before. I wasn't sure how to react.
And I've never met an immortal before, but I acted reasonably.
I apologize.
It's all right. I'll forgive you. If you kiss me.
Why in the name of all heavens? No, why would I do that?
I'm a prince who was cursed into becoming a frog. The spell can only be broken with a kiss. If you kiss me, you can become a princess.
I'd be happy to help break your spell, but I have no interest in becoming a princess.
You could kiss me and leave.
I have no interest in doing that either. I could help you find a girl willing to kiss you, but it's not going to be me.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just spend the rest of my life as a frog.
And Katie once again showed her callous nature by refusing to kiss him. Well, it probably needs to be a girl who kisses him.
It doesn't have to be.
Well, thankfully, an old friend of Katie's was about to enter the scene.
Fairy godmother enters.
Have any of you seen a really lost-looking girl around here? Oh, it's you, the Immortal and the narrator. A pleasure to see you both.
The pleasure is all mine, oh enrapturing godmother.
I'm guessing I'm not getting a kiss from her.
Don't you dare.
No, you're not getting a kiss from me, but there's a perfectly lovely young lady I was leading here to kiss you. Sadly, I seem to have lost her.
How can I help?
Well, I just need to find the girl and convince her to kiss the frog prince.
What's she like?
Oh, she's very sweet, and she happens to have a lot of amphibious friends. Sadly, she's prone to getting lost.
You could call her over here.
I have no idea what her name is.
And you want her to be my princess?
But I'm told general facts about everyone who I'm supposed to help, but no one tells me their names. But that's how this girl over here managed to become immortal.
Do I get to be immortal too?
I can only do one thing to help each person. I mean, you can become immortal if you want to remain a frog person forever.
Good point. I'll stick with not being a frog.
Maybe if you ribbit loudly enough, the girl will come over here.
All right. Ribbit!
Princess comes running on stage.
Was that an amphibious friend I heard?
It worked! Thanks, immortal lady.
Call me Catherine. Or Cabe.
Understood. Hello, miss. I am a prince who was turned into frog. If you kiss me, I'll return to human form and you can become a princess.
Anything to help an amphibious friend.
Prince rises from the ground and removes some of the frog costume. A few pieces of the costume still remain.
I'm still looking a little green.
Yeah, that should wear off soon.
I don't mind. Am I your princess now?
Well, we only just met, but that was a nice kiss. Let's go back to the palace and we can begin courting.
I'd like that.
Prince and princess exit hand in hand.
Thank you. You've helped me through 2 jobs. At this point, maybe I should take you on as a consultant.
I'm just traveling around for now, but I'm happy to help.
I need it. It's difficult wrangling together these princes and princesses. It's my job to help people run entire kingdoms.
Who do you work for?
The fairy queen. She's in charge of all magical occupations.
She's my boss, too.
But you almost never leave my side.
I do sometimes. Unlike you, I don't need to sleep.
So we have that in common as well.
I'm sure you and I have plenty of things in common. In fact, if you're not doing anything later, I'd love to learn more about you over a glass of mead.
I thoroughly enjoy that, but I doubt the Fairy Queen would accept that, considering her no fraternization among employees policy.
Right, that.
But the Fairy Queen doesn't have to know. If I get some time off, which might be in a century or two, I'll look for you. I really should go now. It was nice to see you both.
Fairy godmother exits.
I look forward to seeing more of her.
Well, I know you do. That was rather obvious. Come on, we need to find a place to stay for the night.
So Katie found an old barn to sleep in, but just as she was on the cusp of sleep, she heard voices in the night.
Katie minds walking and sleeping. She keeps lying on the ground, with her eyes open when narrator says she heard voices. The Fairy Queen enters.
Hello, narrator of the Immortal Katie Stewart.
Hello, my queen. How are you today?
Not well. I've heard you've been disturbing one of my godmother's requests, and I need to discuss some rules that come with immortality with your new muse.
I apologize. I didn't realize we were disturbing the godmother. She seemed to appreciate our assistance.
Your assistance is fine, but could you refrain from flirting with my godmothers? She has a job to do, and so do you. You don't need to distract yourselves with fraternizing.
Yes, my queen.
And as for you, there are a few things we need to discuss.
What do you want?
Listen carefully if you want your immortality to remain intact. Don't let any mortals find out about it. If you talk about it around too many mortals, we'll have too many immortals on this planet, and it will be overflowing with people. Your narrator told the prince today, and that could have been bad if the godmother hadn't diffused the situation. So keep your immortality a secret, or I'll be forced to take it away.
What happens if someone tries to kill me and fails? Like if I get stabbed?
Pretend you've got some sort of charm protecting you from harm. That's acceptable. But I don't want any mortals hearing about your wish. You've been warned. Now, behave well.
Fairy Queen exits.
Well, she's not much fun at parties, is she?
I don't think she'd ever let anyone have a party in the first place.
I heard that.
Go to sleep.
Will do.
Katie lies back on the ground.
And so Katie continued her journey across the lands.
Katie rises and begins walking.
Weeks passed, then months, then a year.
It feels like the months are passing in seconds.
But Katie's journey wasn't all traveling and boredom. One evening she came across a young woman with a fishtail for legs, beating her hands against the chest of a dying man.
Princess flops on in a mermaid outfit and a red wig, and Prince comes in and lies on the ground. Princess starts beating against his chest.
What in God's name are you doing?
Trying to get the water out of his lungs. I can beat it out of his chest, but I can't get the air back into them. There's this ancient technique, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, that sailors use that involves breathing the air back into someone's lungs. But I have gills, not lungs.
How are you talking?
There's no time. I need someone to get the air back into his lungs. Can you breathe into his mouth for me?
All right, I guess.
Katie sits on the ground next to Prince.
I hit, and you breathe into his mouth.
Princess hits. Katie breathes into his mouth. This repeats twice. Prince begins coughing and wakes up.
I have to go. I can't survive out here. Keep an eye on him, and tell him I rescued him.
Of course.
Princess flops off stage and Prince rises from the ground.
You saved me! Oh, thank you, dear lady. What can I do to repay you?
Actually, the young woman who did most of the saving just left. I helped bring you back to life, but she's the one who told me how to do it. She's a mermaid, and she was having trouble breathing out here, so she went back to the water.
Oh, what does she look like?
Red hair, fishtail, waterproof outfit, had a nice voice.
Oh, thanks. I'll go out to the coast and thank her. I'm glad you were here. That could have ended badly.
You're welcome.
Prince exits.
That was bizarre.
Indeed, but I think you just prevented a tragedy. And so Katie continued on her journey, but just a few weeks later, a similar event occurred.
Katie minds walking again.
Similar to that?
Prince and princess enter in more normal outfits. Princess lies on the ground, and Prince cries over her.
Indeed, for as she was walking through the forest, she came across a prince crying over the body of a fallen princess.
If only I could have saved you.
What's going on?
A few minutes ago, I came upon my princess like this, lying on the ground with an apple in her hand.
She doesn't look very dead. Have you tried mouth-to-mouth resuscitation?
Mouth to what?
It's this ancient technique where you breathe into someone's mouth and force air back into their lungs while someone else beats on their chest.
We can try it.
Katie sits down and puts the princess's chest. Prince breathes in the princess's mouth. She immediately starts coughing.
My princess, you're alive.
What are you doing on top of me?
We were trying to bring you back to life. Are you all right?
I think there was something funny I ate. Thank you both. Can you take me back to the dwarf's place, my prince?
Of course, my dear. I'm so glad you're okay. Thank you, kind stranger.
Prince and princess exit.
Odd. And you were right. It was similar to the fish incident.
Little did Katie know, those who were mortal tended to attract magic and magical situations to them.
I know now.
But Katie continued her journey, meeting a few new strange and fantastical creatures along the way, including a talking wolf, a beast in a castle, and a strange talking cat. But Katie grew used to this. Months upon months passed, and she traveled on across multiple countries, until one day, as she was walking along the road, she came across a familiar face she hadn't seen in many years.
Fairy godmother enters.
Oh, it's you again. It's so nice to see you both.
Hello. Anything I can help you with?
Not this time. I just finished selling this teenager some magic beans, and I haven't been given another assignment. I have a few minutes. You and I could go get that glass of mead. You're not saying a word. Did I do something wrong?
No. The fairy queen told him that he wasn't allowed to fraternize with you, so he's trying to remain composed.
Oh, she found out? Well, I can hang around even if I'm not fraternizing with you. I'll just be here with Katie for a while. That's allowed. Let's go get a drink, you and me. You'll just be tagging along.
So Katie and Fairy Godmother made their way to a tavern.
A couple of stagehands bring 2 tables and a few chairs on the stage.
Thank you, my servants.
Fairy godmother and Katie sit.
Come, sit, I insist.
Oh, thank God. I've been spending the last 2 years standing.
How long have you been traveling now?
A few years. We've been going from town to town, exploring the countryside. We keep coming across magical creatures and princes and princesses.
Seems like magic has been following you around. It happens to us immortals sometimes. Maybe you need to come up with a story of your own.
Story of my own.
You could find your own prince, or maybe a princess, that go on an epic quest to defeat a dragon, or you can even settle down.
I might want to defeat a dragon just because it can't kill me. And it might be terrorizing people.
Well, they're hard to kill, even for the immortal. What do you want to do? Are you getting tired of traveling?
Maybe a little. I suppose settling down wouldn't be such a bad idea, but not yet. How's the fairy godmother life treating you?
Ugh, it's exhausting. The fairy queen isn't a very understanding boss either.
I can tell. I wish I could do something to help.
It's a living. You're lucky. You get to travel around the world. You don't have to do too much work on your way.
Would you be allowed to quit your job?
No. If I quit, I'd lose my magic, my immortality, and I'd never be allowed to return to the realm of magic. Your narrator and I are stuck.
Indeed.
Realm of magic?
That's where we're from. Before we started working as a narrator and I began working as a fairy godmother, we grew up and were trained there. If we do good enough work for the next 1,000 or so years, we get to go back and live there for the rest of eternity.
Can I go to this magical realm?
Only if you want to work for the fairy queen.
Immortality with her? Sounds dreadful.
This is nice. I don't get much time to talk to people when I'm not working.
Agreed. I usually don't talk to anyone other than this guy.
I'm sure he's good company.
He might be better company for you than me. I prefer someone who doesn't constantly narrate my life.
That's literally my job.
Doesn't make it any less annoying.
Well, I think you're good at your job.
I think you are too.
Narrator and fairy godmother move their seats a little closer together. Fairy queen enters.
What in the realm of magic do you think you're doing? I've been looking all over for you. And I've told you no flirting. Did you mishear me when I said that?
I'm sorry, I was just talking to Cabe here. We told our narrator to sit down and get some rest. We weren't fraternizing.
I know exactly what you were doing, and I won't allow it. If you had stayed in the forest like you were supposed to, you could have prevented a griffin from entering the kingdom. Now there's a griffin in the kingdom, and you have to find a hero or a knight to get it out.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry doesn't cut it. The Immortal girl has been practically doing your job for you. Go find a hero and get out of here.
The fairy godmother hurriedly exits.
Thank you for all you've done to help, but I insist you do not fraternize with your co-workers. Find a mortal girl if you need to, but my godmothers are off limits.
Yes, my queen.
Fairy queen exits.
And so Katie traveled on, but slower now. She seemed to be spending more time at taverns, not drinking overly much, but considering a different life. She wondered about what the godmother said. Was it time to settle down?
Narrator, I'm tired. I don't want to travel anymore. I want to rest. I don't know where to go.
Little did Katie realize, along her travels, she'd helped the monarchs of many kingdoms, and none of them had forgotten her kindness.
What?
I suggest you try to go to your home kingdom first. Your friend from next door became the queen.
Katie gets up from the table. Mimes walking.
Let's go home.
And that's where Katie went. The queen was happy to help Katie, bestowing upon her a tavern.
Princess enters and gestures to the tables.
I hope you like this place. It's in need of repairs, but the tavern is all yours.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. You were my first friend when we were both under our stepfamily's roof. You've earned this.
Thank you.
Princess exits.
And so Katie began her new life as the owner of the tavern. It seemed slow at first, and the tavern got some business, but it didn't boom. It seemed like an ordinary, dull life until one day.
Prince enters and sits down at a table.
Until one day, you're kind of repetitive, you know. You've said that a lot.
You should look to your left.
Peter enters and sits down. He sits in, gapes, and hides behind the table where Prince is sitting. Prince looks perturbed.
You act like you've never seen a man before. I find that surprising considering you spend all of your time around me.
You don't count.
And this man does?
Yes.
Excuse me, could I get a drink?
Katie slowly rises from behind her table and walks over to Peter.
Hello.
Hello. Can I have your best mead?
Katie nods furiously but doesn't say anything. She stares at him for a moment awkwardly before going off stage.
Katie didn't have much experience with men. All that traveling introduced her to princes, but she generally tried to point them in the direction of the nearest princess. But this man was different. He was someone she was actually attracted to.
Excuse me, what are you talking about?
Nothing.
Katie reaches with a glass of mead. She hands it to Peter and stares at him.
Are you all right?
Just a little tired.
Excellent mead here. Do you own this place? Well, it's lovely. I just moved here to be closer to my grandmother. I'm looking for a job. Do you know any place with openings?
We have an opening. Katie and I are the only ones who work here.
Katie, I like that. I'd love to work here if you'd have me.
Well, what can you do?
Well, I can fix up the carpentry in this place, I can clean, and I can serve drinks. It seems like you're a little shy. I tend to get comfortable around people quickly. Useful skill in a tavern?
I'm usually all right with people. I'm just having an odd day.
I can understand that.
Your offer's a good one. I need as much help as possible. That one's rather useless.
Hey, I help. Sometimes.
Are you two married?
Never in a
dare
million
you.
years. I can give you a salary of 7 silvers an hour. Just don't ever suggest that we're married again.
Of course.
You can start tomorrow.
You're giving me a job and you haven't even asked my name.
Oh, sorry. Most of the people I know just go by their occupation or their habits. He's called narrator.
Yes, I think he was narrating a few minutes ago. He said something about not having much experience with men.
I hate you so much.
Sorry, it's my job.
He also mentioned something about a man you were attracted to.
You were the absolute worst.
I don't mind. You're not bad yourself. I look forward to working with you. And it's Peter, by the way. Peter Cabe.
Did that really just happen?
Yes, Katie was developing a crush on Immortal.
Oh God, he's mortal? That might be a problem. At least I don't have to worry about that for a while. The big problem is that I'm his boss. I don't want to force him to court me.
You'll have to see how that goes.
You already know what's going to happen, don't you?
I have a rough idea of your tale, but I never know all of the details. But I do have one piece of advice for you.
Yes?
Let yourself be happy, even if it's not forever. Everything except for us dies eventually, but that's no reason not to take the happiness when it comes your way. I see one person I have any interest in for a few minutes every year. You have an opportunity I lack.
I'm sure you'll see her again soon.
Prince exits. Peter enters. Katie and Peter mind talking with each other.
We'll see. Katie and Peter began working together, spending more and more time talking, slowly developing stronger feelings for each other.
Katie and Peter stopped talking and walked towards narrator.
Although they weren't sure how to broach the subject,
That is enough. You're not allowed to narrate like that when Peter's here. I'm trying to figure this out and you're ruining everything.
So you do have feelings for me.
I never said that.
You are adorable and incredibly obvious.
I'm going to go hide under a bridge and become a troll now.
As she starts to walk away, Peter grabs her hand.
It's all right. I like it. I like you.
You do realize that I'm your boss and...
I don't care. I'd like to court you.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure.
All right. I'd like to court you too.
Katie kisses his cheek. Peter kisses her on the lips.
That was nice.
You're so nervous and it's adorable.
As this happens more, I'll get less nervous.
I know, but you'll still be cute.
Peter hugs her.
and they both were exceedingly disgustingly cute.
Oh, go chew on a sock.
I'd rather not. But things continued to go well for the two of them for the next 2 years. The two of them were happy and they had no worries. Still, an old dread stayed in Katie's heart, for she feared it wouldn't last forever. But Peter wanted it to last forever too, and he proved it one evening after a long day's work.
Peter and Katie mind working, hugging, and they smile. Katie starts to look rather forlorn, and Peter comes up behind her and hugs her. He then pulls a small box with a ring inside of his pocket. He gets down on one knee.
Katie Stewart, will you marry me?
I'd love to, but I can't. I can't marry you. I'll stay with you as long as you want, but I can't marry you. If I'd known you were going to propose, I would have told you no.
But I love you.
I love you too, and I want to be with you forever, just not by marriage.
What about our children?
I don't think it's the best idea for me to have kids.
Why?
I have a condition in my family that I don't want to spread. When people in my family get old, they tend to lose their minds or grow lumps and boils. I don't want my children to suffer like that.
I should have asked.
You brought up children, but I didn't want to discuss it. This isn't your fault. What are you going to do now?
I need time to think.
All right.
I love you. I'll be back soon.
Peter exits.
Katie was certain he was going to leave. She was also certain she couldn't marry him or have children with him. She couldn't be with him forever, and she couldn't stand the idea of watching her own child age before her.
You're not helping. I know he's going to leave, but what did you expect me to do? I can't do this to him. It's unethical to treat him.
The narrator sits by Katie and hugs her.
He's coming back. You won't have him forever, but right now, he's coming back.
What?
Peter enters. Narrator lets go of Katie and walks away.
Katie, I don't care. I'd rather be with you.
Katie jumps into his arms and they hug. Prince enters and sits at a table. They return to work when narrator starts speaking, displaying the emotions narrator says they're displaying.
And again, they were happy. Nothing lasts forever, but things can last for a long time. 8 years went by, much slower for Peter than they did for Katie. She still held out, but they didn't hound her too often. Peter would soon turn 30, and Katie was feeling anxious about this upcoming birthday. But this day was unusual for an entirely different reason, for an old friend is about to return.
Fairy godmother enters, immediately locks eyes with the narrator and smiles. Narrator walks over to her.
Is it all right if I hug you?
Of course.
Fairy godmother and narrator hug.
It's great to see you.
I wish I could finally get that drink with you. The Fairy Queen hasn't lightened up any in the last decade. How have you been?
All right. Not incredible. Katie and I stopped traveling shortly after we last saw you. We've been here all this time.
Well, no wonder I haven't seen you around.
Katie and Peter walk over to Fairy godmother.
Fairy godmother.
Hello, Katie. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is Peter. We've been courting for the past decade.
Oh, it's wonderful to meet you.
Katie never told me she had a friend who was a fairy godmother. Can you grant me a wish?
I can only do that in extenuating circumstances.
Hey, can I get some drinks over here?
I'll take care of that guy. I swear he hasn't left this tavern in 8 years.
Peter exits.
Wow, 10 years? I'm impressed.
Yes, there were a few close calls with the whole immortality thing, but we figured it out.
Does he know?
No, but it's why I don't want to have kids or marry. It's going to become a problem eventually.
You seem happy right now. That's what's important.
Exactly. Do you have any assignments right now?
No, the number of assignments have been dying down of late. I'm not sure what's going on, but less magical events have occurred. If I'd known you two were here, I would have come by sooner.
You're here now. Spend some time with narrator. I'll get you guys that drink you wanted all those years ago.
Fairy godmother and narrator sit down at the table.
So, have you just been standing around here narrating for the past 10 years?
Peter comes back in and begins serving Prince. He carefully leaves narrator and fairy godmother alone.
Pretty much, yes. What about you? The usual quest? Trying to set up princes and princesses? Even though the queen comes by now and then, we haven't seen a prince or a princess in a long time. But we have lots of heroes and adventurers come in.
I haven't run across as much royalty lately as I used to. Part of the reason I was running around so much when you two were traveling is because most of the kingdoms in the area needed to renew the monarchy all at once. I've been helping adventurers, keeping wolves from eating little girls, keeping pigs safe from wolves.
Poor wolves.
Yes, they're often portrayed as the bad guy when really they're just hungry. Sometimes I just get them a bite to eat and they behave beautifully.
They're not evil, just hungry.
I don't blame them. I know we don't have to eat. I just love food.
Me too. Especially mutton. Mutton's delicious. Wolves have the right idea.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Yes?
Do you court anyone when you're out there working?
No, I don't have time.
I don't either. I have no interest in mortals, unlike Katie.
Now, Cabe was mortal once, but you and I have always known we were going to live forever. It's a little different for us.
That's true. I spent the last 10 years thinking about you. You're the only other immortal I know besides Katie and the Queen.
I think about you a lot, too, when I have time to think.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Fairy godmother slowly puts her hand on top of narrator's. Fairy queen enters.
What did I say about fraternizing?
I'm sorry.
Get out of here now! You are never to see him again as long as you work with me.
Katie enters, looking horrified.
But my queen, I've been so lonely.
Lonely? I I've never had time to court anyone in my life. I'm too busy rounding up all of you, trying to keep the world from messing up. If that's the way I've got to live, I expect my associates to live similarly. Leave now or suffer the consequences.
What could you possibly do?
Take your job. Remove your magic. Remove your immortality. Make sure you never see the magical realm again.
Please, no.
Then leave now. I've got a new assignment for you.
I'm sorry. I wish we could be together.
Fairy godmother exits.
How can you do that? You're denying someone basic rights. And what about your own life? You have all the time in the world and you let yourself be consumed by it.
There's never enough time. You should know that. Look how you've spent your life. You have one of the greatest gifts imaginable, and you use it to run a tavern? Tell your lover and your customer to leave now.
I'll go. I'm not inciting the wrath of the Fairy Queen.
Prince exits.
Are you going to be all right?
I'll be fine. Go.
Peter exits.
What do you want?
Do you remember our little deal? You kept your secret from mortals, and I'll let you keep your immortality. It seems as though time is going to break that deal for you. You need to leave him.
No, he's the only person I've ever loved. Not that you seem to care about that.
Then you choose to die. You've never even used your immortality for good. You haven't fought dragons, you haven't saved villages, you haven't done anything to help this world.
When I was traveling, I saved lives. Your princes and princesses are together because of me.
True.
I didn't fight a dragon, but I fought off a war once. I've done my best to protect this place, but I want to use my immortality to live a simple life. Who says I have to fight dragons?
You must do something. Leave the mortal, or your immortality ends.
What if I decide to stay?
You lose your immortality. Magical things will stop happening around you, and you'll lose your narrator.
What?
She's right. If you decide to become mortal, our story ends. There would be no more of your tale for me to tell.
What would you do with him? Would you let him return to the realm of magic?
No. He's been insubordinate and irresponsible. I might just take his immortality away for that. Besides, your story hasn't run its course. If you do give it up, he didn't do his job properly.
Katie, do whatever you think is best. I don't care if I have to suffer. A large part of my life's been suffering. You can live the rest of your life here with Peter.
Or you could let that poor mortal go. Leave. Let him have the family he's always wanted. He can't have that while you're here.
If I give up my immortality, you'd be alone, miserable, and never able to return to your home.
It's okay, Katie. You love Peter. You deserve to live a happy life with him.
But I'd be making your life miserable.
And you'd be making his miserable if you left.
I'll make sure he's happy. He'll have everything he could possibly want.
That settles it. I'll leave.
No.
There will be others for you like him. I'll make sure of it. You'll have your decade with them as well. I'm sorry about your friends. I know this seems unfair, but I'm trying to do an impossible job. I hope you understand.
Fairy Queen exits.
That's it. I knew it would have to end eventually.
You didn't have to do that.
Yes, I did. This way she can't hurt you like she's hurting the godmother, and he'll be happy. She'll make sure he's happy, and I will too.
What are you going to do?
I'm giving him the end. I can't stay here much longer anyway. People have already started to talk about how young I look.
Are you going to tell him goodbye?
No, it's better if I don't. I'll be too tempted to stay. If I don't say anything, I'll look like the bad guy. It might help him get over me faster. I'll write a note telling him goodbye, and then I'm off.
Katie exits.
And she began gathering her things, ready to leave Peter behind.
Katie returns with a piece of paper and the bindle. She sets the paper on the table.
I should have left all those years ago when he wanted children. Now he can have them. Come on. We're going to the Frogman's kingdom. He'll probably have an in for me.
No.
You're staying?
I've got to tell this part from Peter's perspective.
Oh. I'll see you there then.
Katie exits.
Katie left, and Peter returned to the inn.
Peter enters and looks at the note.
He read aloud.
Dear Peter, I love you more than anything, but I can't do this anymore. You deserve a better life, one with a wife and children. The inn is yours. I've left the deed and most of my belongings for you. It's all yours. Promise me you'll move on. You'll find that life you deserve. I'll love you forever. Please don't love me forever.
Peter drops the note and stares into space, angry and sad.
She really meant it. She will love you forever.
Doesn't matter.
Peter exits, narrator stays on stage, lights out, end of Act 1. Act 2. Two tables still sit on stage. Katie and narrator on stage with Prince. Prince hands Katie a sheet of paper, nods, and exits.
For Katie, life continued as it always had, only lonelier. The prince who'd been turned into a frog already knew of her immortality, so he wasn't surprised when he saw she hadn't aged a day. When she requested an inn, he obliged out of gratitude. Katie worked there, fighting dragons and monsters on the side.
Princess enters in an adventurer's outfit. Katie walks off stage with her sword in her hands.
So every few years, she went on a trek across the lands, searching for monsters to fight, leaving the tavern with me. Sometimes the monsters would even follow her back to her tavern.
Katie re-enters being chased by Prince wearing a monster head. She and Prince fight until she brings him to the ground. She stands on him triumphantly. Cheering is heard from backstage. Princess comes back on her own with an adventurer's outfit on and drags Prince off stage.
Still, Katie longed for those quiet days with Peter. 25 lonely years passed. She thought life would remain this way forever. And then one day...
Always with the then one days? Let me guess, the godmother's coming back? Fairy Queen's here to yell at me again?
No.
Peter enters entirely unchanged in age and appearance.
Peter, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm not Peter. That's my father's name. I'm Kevin Cabe.
Oh, I knew your father. You look exactly like him.
Yeah, everyone says I'm practically his doppelganger.
How is he? Is he happy?
He died a few years back.
No, he couldn't have. He'd only be 55 now.
It was a shock.
Oh, my lords. How? Never mind, I don't want to know. Was he happy? Did he live a happy life?
I'd say so.
At least there's that. Is your mother still alive? I'm so sorry.
How'd you know my father?
We were close a long time ago. What happened to his tavern?
He had a tavern when I was a kid, but he sold it. He said there were too many hard memories associated with it.
Katie sits down at a table and puts her face in her hands.
Oh, lords. I'm so sorry. I can't believe he's gone. I wanted him to live a long, happy life. Maybe I should have... Oh, my lords. I thought he'd be happier in a life with... something else.
What are you talking about?
Nothing. Your father and I were close once. When I left Regalia, we didn't part on great terms, but I wished him well. I wanted him to be happy.
I didn't realize you'd known him so well.
Yes, once. Never mind that. What are you doing in this kingdom?
I'm looking for a job. Do you happen to have any openings?
Yes, you can have a job here. I owe that much to your father.
Wow. You must have liked my father. You didn't even ask for my credentials.
He was a good man.
What's your name?
Katie Stewart.
My father had an old girlfriend named Katie. That's a bit of a coincidence. How did you know him? You look my age.
I'm a little older than you think.
Hopefully not too much older.
What are you implying?
I don't want to come across as too forward.
Too forward? What are you talking about?
Nothing. I'll start tomorrow.
Peter exits.
Katie didn't realize Kevin's meaning. She saw him only as the son of her lost love at first.
What are you saying? Oh, that's his son!
You've been alone for 20 years, and the Fairy Queen said there would be others.
Exactly like him? I don't think so.
You'll see what happens. Kevin started working with Katie, and the two became friendly.
Peter enters with a broom in hand, and Princess enters and sits down at the other table.
So, are you originally from Regalia?
Yes, I grew up there with my stepfamily. Not a great life, but I enjoyed spending some time there after I moved out. It was familiar and comfortable.
How did you get into the tavern business?
I did a favor for the king once, and he gave me a tavern.
He gave you a tavern? How do you get a king to give you a tavern?
He was turned into a frog man. I found him a princess who changed him back into a normal human with a kiss.
Huh, weird. You could have kissed him yourself and become a princess.
I'm not into the whole prince thing.
What are you into? Wait, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be saying things like that. You're my boss.
Kevin continued to make his advances known in little ways, implying she was pretty without saying it directly, touching her shoulder as a goodbye before he left work, always looking at her in the eyes, often looking hypnotized by her gaze. Katie was beginning to see the similarities between Peter and Kevin, and she found them hard to ignore. She resisted on account of her moral feelings, but she was beginning to feel her loneliness catch up with her. Kevin guessed that she would never return his feelings. So, one day, he made a decision.
Peter and Katie mind this narration.
Katie, I can't do this anymore.
What do you mean?
I'm too infatuated with you, and it's not appropriate, and you don't care.
No.
I need to find a job where I'm not pining over my boss.
No, don't go. Please?
So you do have feelings for me?
Katie doesn't respond at first. Peter begins to exit. Katie runs after him, grabs him, and kisses him. They embrace.
Now, it seemed as if, like Katie was loving a shadow of Peter, but due to the Fairy Queen's magic, he had very few differences from Peter. He did have some, but Katie didn't mind. Over time, she learned her feelings for Kevin were legitimate, even though they were originally inspired by Peter. So, for a time, they were happy. Years, actually. Like Peter, Katie refused to marry or bear children with Kevin, and still Kevin stayed. But as the years passed, Katie knew it couldn't last forever. 2 days after Kevin's 30th birthday, Katie made the same decision she had 35 years prior. Kevin deserved a family and a life with a mortal woman. So Katie left Kevin the tavern, and then left the kingdom.
Katie and Peter act out their life together, ending with Katie exiting the stage and Peter on stage alone. Peter exits, and Katie comes back on stage with Princess.
Katie had done many favors over her lifetime, and most of them for royals who were often affected by magic. So, like she'd done twice before, Katie asked the monarchy to give her an old tavern, and they obliged. Once again, she spent 25 years alone, adventuring on the side, only the need for quests were becoming more scarce. When 25 years passed, a familiar face returned, but not on the same man.
Princess exits. Katie minds the narration, and Peter enters.
Hello, I'm Reginald. I'm looking for a job.
Katie would have denied him work, but she felt guilty about how she treated his father and his grandfather. And, like before, Katie found that she couldn't resist his advances or make it last more than a decade.
Katie and Peter mind the narration, and Peter exits the stage.
And another kingdom, and 25 more years later, Katie learned Reginald wasn't the last.
Hello, I'm Walden.
And so the cycle continued 4 more times. After over 200 years of dating Peter and his descendants, monsters and magic were beginning to dwindle. Katie couldn't find any more quests, and Katie hadn't seen the fairy godmother or the fairy queen since she'd left Peter. She'd run out of nearby kingdoms to save, and many kingdoms' monarchies were being transformed into democracies. Still, 40 years passed after she dated Peter's great-great-great-grandson, Mervyn, and his newest descendants hadn't come knocking at her door. So Katie turned to me.
I think it's time for a change, my friend.
You're just saying that because Peter's newest doppelganger never showed up.
While I miss his company, I think I need to move on to other things. I've owned too many taverns in these kingdoms. This life doesn't suit me anymore. I think we should travel again.
Where to?
To the land across the sea. To a new life of travel.
I would like that. And so Katie and I boarded a ship to the land across the sea, America. Of course, the boat sank halfway there. Katie and I were forced to walk the rest of the way underwater in a singularly unpleasant and soggy trip.
80 miles walking through water.
This is ridiculous.
When we finally reached shore, we had a problem. A war had begun within the country.
Katie sighs. Prince and princess enter with their guns.
It's time we end this. Hail Regalia!
Nonsense! For the Republic of America! Viva la Revolution!
What do you want to do? Hail Regalia?
Or for the Republic?
I don't know. I never had problems with Regalia's rule, but I understand wanting independence.
So which do you choose? Then you choose death.
Prince shoots her and nothing happens. Katie knocks him out.
You have a problem?
No? Go about your business.
Prince and princess exit.
So Katie rode out that war, surviving mostly on scraps and helping out anyone who helped her. When the Republic won, she found work at another tavern, though this time as a waitress instead of as an owner. Katie continued to work at the tavern for 3 decades until they tried to burn her at the stake for witchcraft.
Katie mimes the narration and Prince enters holding a pitchfork and torch.
Burn the witch! Burn the...
So
Katie
Katie-
smacks him into the ground and walks away. Prince groans and walks off stage.
So Katie moved to the next city, where she found herself in the midst of a war between the east and west side of the country.
Not again.
Prince and princess enter with rifles.
This time, because she'd nearly been burned as a witch on the eastern side, she decided to fight for the west. With Katie's help, the west won.
Katie beats up both prince and princess. Prince and princess then exit.
But the life of a veteran isn't an easy one. She was able to acquire another waitress job briefly, but soon rumors of her immortality began trickling throughout the west. For 20 years, people began challenging Katie to duels, to best the greatest soldier in the war.
Dear Lord, I'm tired of all this fighting.
Prince enters with a handkerchief over his chin and pistol. He tries to challenge her to a duel, but she simply knocks the weapon out of his hand and knocks him out.
Let's get out of here. I want to go someplace where I'm not constantly being asked to duel.
So Katie moved back to the east to a city so large and populated, no one would notice her. And no one did, not even employers. So like many other veterans in history, Katie was homeless.
Maybe we should go back to the west. I can stand some more duels if I have a place to sleep.
Do you want to walk all the way across the country? We can't afford travel.
You're right. Let's just stay here.
And we did stay on the streets for 8 more years. And then one day, we ran into a person we hadn't seen in centuries.
Judging by your face, it's the fairy godmother.
Fairy godmother enters.
Katie, narrator. My heavens, it's wonderful to see you both. What are you doing on the ground?
We live here.
So you're homeless? Oh, that just won't do. Look, I've got a small apartment to myself. You two should come join me.
Yes. I mean, if it's no trouble, I'd love to live in your humble abode.
It would be no trouble. You two are the only other close immortal friends I have. I haven't seen the fairy queen in 3 centuries.
Really? That may explain why the duplicate feeder stopped showing up.
Duplicate what?
I'll explain on the way to your place.
A good idea. You really need to bathe. I've got movers coming in today. They're bringing in a new couch and a table.
Crew comes on stage with a couch and a coffee table.
And so Katie and I told the story of our last few centuries. We made our way over to our new apartment where we'd spend the rest of our days on Earth.
What?
Fairy godmother hands cash to a crew member.
Thank you for your help. Now what?
I'm not entirely sure what that means. I don't know if it means we're going to lose our immortality or what. I just have inklings of where the story is going.
Well, I'm going to live my never-ending life to the fullest. I'm off to find a job. Where do you work?
I work at the local theater as a dancer.
Are they hiring?
Yes, but mostly stagehands. It's hard work.
I'll try that out. I've spent a lot of years fighting. It's given me some muscle.
Katie begins to exit and narrator follows.
Stay here.
But I'm always supposed to follow you.
Not this time. Stay here. Talk to her.
Katie exits.
Looks like it's just you and me.
It is.
They stare at each other awkwardly. Narrator sits on the couch. Fairy godmother eases herself next to him.
So, what now?
Good question.
So what have you been doing for the last few centuries?
I was helping with quests for a while, and then one day the fairy queen just stopped giving me quests. I haven't seen her since. I came to Republic of America shortly afterwards. I wanted to find a new life. I was tired of helping out princes and princesses anyway. They all started to seem the same to me after a while. I only arrived here in New Yonkers a year or two ago.
And you're working as a dancer now.
Yes. As a fairy godmother, I have a tendency towards gracefulness.
Yes, you do.
You're sweet. Most people don't spend so much time complimenting me.
Do you meet other narrators for the Princes and Princesses tales? Didn't they compliment you?
Yeah, I ran into a few. Most of them focused a lot more on telling their stories than anything else. You're different. It's like you're part of the story.
I think I am. So are you, of course. The best part of the story.
You are an impossible flirt.
Just with you. I hope you don't mind.
Well, I rather like it. You know, now that we haven't seen the Queen in centuries, I think it's okay if we... if you still want to.
Fairy godmother moves closer to narrator.
I have wanted this for over 500 years.
Narrator and fairy godmother kiss, and then both of them sigh.
Hopefully we'll be doing that for the next 500.
Yes, let's make up for lost time.
Narrator embraces fairy godmother, and then narrator rises from his seat to address the audience.
And we did make up for lost time. We were happy for many years, many decades even. Katie worked as a stagehand, the fairy godmother worked as a dancer, and I often found myself on the vaudeville stage, MC. Of course, there were plenty of stages in New Yonkers. So even as we didn't age, we were able to work. And even though Katie was alone, she was happy because we were happy.
You can't decide if I'm happy. I get to decide if I'm happy.
Are you?
I'm happy for you. You spent enough years alone, both of you. Maybe it's time I stop being alone as well.
What do you mean?
I haven't dated anyone in my life other than Peter or Peter's relatives. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. I spent 200 years alone. You guys have spent the past 50 years together.
You could start with that phone application. Dater?
Nah, I'm going to head to the bar and see what happens.
I have to see this.
No,
I have a feeling this is necessary for your story. I'm coming.
Okay, but don't make me look foolish.
Make no promises.
Can I come too?
Fine, but don't talk to me.
Katie, narrator, and fairy godmother go to the tables. Katie sits by herself, and narrator and fairy godmother sit together.
And so we went to the bar. Katie had a seat by herself. Fairy godmother and I watched her from the table to the side of her. And Katie looked at the bar's menu of finger foods. She didn't notice. Well, it was about time he showed up again.
Peter walks over to Katie.
Hi, I'm Peter. I'll be taking your order. What would you like to drink?
Your name is Peter?
Yeah.
Sorry, you look exactly like somebody I knew a long time ago. What's your last name? You might be related.
Peter Cabe.
Oh, I must have been mistaken. Just a coincidence.
And out of curiosity, what's your name?
Katie Stewart. Why? You know anyone who looks like me?
No, I would have remembered someone who looked like you.
Why is that?
Oh, you know, because... let me take your order.
Do you have any mead?
Just one brand. That's not a request we get often.
Well, bring me a glass.
Sure thing, Katie.
Peter exits.
It's happening again.
I know. I've decided it's fate.
What about moving on?
I am moving on to the next descendant.
This is for you. I can cover it. I'll be off in half an hour, and I can come over here and sit with you, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Peter exits, re-enters, and sits by Katie.
Half an hour later, Peter joined Katie.
So where are you from?
All over. I spent some time in Regalia, Amalia, and everywhere in Western Europa. I was living in New Kansas for a while, and I've been living in New Yonkers for a long time now.
That's a lot of traveling. My ancestors lived in that part of Europa. They moved to the Republic of America 200 or 300 years ago.
Have you been in New Yonkers long?
Only about a year or so. You?
About a decade.
Wow. How have you had time to live so many places?
I moved around a lot when I was younger.
Did your folks travel a lot?
Some. They've been gone for years now.
Mine too. I don't really have any family left.
Me either.
Where do you work?
I'm only through some of the local theaters. I used to wait tables, like you.
Any college plans?
No.
Same. I like working in New Yonkers. It's a gorgeous city. I'm not sure what I want to do with my life.
Who says you have to do anything with your life? Live it how you want to.
I like that. This is going well.
Yeah, it is.
Can I have your number?
Do you mean my phone number, or is there some other number?
Your phone number.
Of course.
Katie pulls a paper and pencil out of her pocket, scrawls her number, and hands it to Peter.
It's kind of late right now, but do you want to meet me here at 7 tomorrow? They give me a discount if I order drinks or food from here.
I'd like that.
See you tomorrow then.
Peter exits, re-enters, and sits back down.
And they did meet 4 more times that week.
What's your favorite show?
Once Upon a Fairy Story. It reminds me of real life, you know?
I like fantasy shows. My favorite's Land of Chess.
Now that stuff is dark. You think a fantasy world like that would have less death and destruction?
Real life has a lot of death and destruction.
Less than you think.
So, why haven't you kissed me yet?
You haven't given me a good opportunity. I'd like to.
Peter kisses her.
Okay. That was nice.
Glad to hear it.
And they met 4 times shortly after that.
So you don't have a head journal?
Nope. I never saw a need for one. The only people I've kept in contact with over the years are my roommates.
Then how will we make this head journal official?
What?
Do you want to be my girlfriend, officially and exclusively?
Well, I'd love to. I thought we were already semi-official.
Well, you have to ask directly to know for sure. I want you to know that I don't want to date anyone except for you.
I don't want to date anyone but you either.
I'm glad.
They hold hands across the table. Peter exits. Katie, fairy godmother, and narrator move over to the couch on the other side of the stage.
After a week passed, Peter planned on visiting Katie's apartment, and needless to say, Katie was feeling a little apprehensive about the idea.
You guys need real names. I can't tell him your names are narrator and fairy godmother.
Well, my ID says my name is April. I'll go with that. I don't know how you're going to explain the wings, though. I hide them under costumes when I'm on stage, but not when I'm here.
All right, April. I'll say you have a back injury, and the wings look better than a spinal straightener thing. What's your name, narrator?
I'll be Bill. I like the name Bill.
Okay, April and Bill. Stay cool. Don't reveal anything.
Doorbell rings. Katie goes to the side of the stage and lets Peter in. Peter enters.
Not a bad place.
Again, my roommates are a little weird, but they're my best friends.
I'm sure they're fine.
Peter sees fairy godmother and narrator.
Ah, the guy who's always talking to himself, the lady with the wings. You were right.
So this is Peter? Nice to meet you. I'm Bill, and this is my girlfriend, April.
Don't you call each other narrator and fairy godmother?
Those are pet names.
Fairy godmother I can understand, but narrator?
It makes him feel better about himself. Or, it makes him feel better when he's talking to himself.
I like that he talks to himself. He sounds good when he does it.
Okay. Where are you guys from originally?
Very far away from here. We've been living in New Yonkers for about 50.
5 years. They've been living up here for about 5 years. I met them in Europa about 10 years ago, and we decided to live together when we all moved here.
All right. What's with the wings?
Back injury.
Well, how long have you two been together?
A really long time.
We would get married, but there's too much paperwork involved. Sorry, I didn't mean to say anything to bother you.
Don't
No, it's
worry about
okay. Katie, can I talk to you alone for a second?
Sure.
Peter and Katie walk out of hearing for narrator and fairy godmother.
It may be a little early to tell you this, but it sounds like you agree with me on marriage. I don't know if I want to get married and have kids. The marriage thing, maybe after a long time, is it several years? But I don't know about kids at all. Maybe when I reach my 30s, but I don't know. I think you're a little older than me, not in a bad way, so I thought you should know.
I feel exactly the same.
You're not just saying that?
No, I was afraid you'd feel differently. Most of the other people I've dated have felt differently.
Regardless, I plan on sticking around. I like being with you.
I feel the same.
And so they continued to date, on and on for the next 4 years. Peter was a little different from his ancestors, but Katie didn't mind. She actually liked the differences. She felt like she and Peter were even more in sync than her and the previous Peters.
Peter and Katie smiled with happiness.
Bill, you are so weird, and I don't know why you do this. I'm going home for the night.
Katie still feared that she'd have to leave him someday, but with the Fairy Queen out of sight and with Peter's dreams matching her own, she didn't see herself doing that in the future.
Don't say one day, don't say one day.
Until one day, we heard the doorbell ring.
I told you not to say it.
I'm obligated to. Here, I'll answer the door.
Narrator goes to the door and the Fairy Queen enters.
Hello again.
Can't you go somewhere else instead of shoving your idiotic rules in our faces? I haven't seen anything magical in centuries. It shouldn't matter anymore.
That's why I came to talk to you about. You see, I may have been unreasonable in my time as the Fairy Queen. Due to my strictness, most of the other godmothers and narrators decided they'd rather live out the rest of their lives as mortals. That's when magic started disappearing, and that's when my own magical abilities started to fade. My magic comes from the energy of other magical beings, and without other magical beings, there's very little I can do. I've been searching for the three of you for years. I thought I was doing the right thing, and instead, I messed everything up.
After years of controlling us, is that all?
No. Magic has faded from this world, and it's time we leave. I have enough magic to do a few more spells. One of them is to take you back to the land of magic. All three of you.
Me too.
Yes. You've earned it after all I put you through.
But you made it so I'd always have someone to look after me.
That magic continued all of those centuries?
Yeah, I discovered Peter's newest descendant a few years ago.
It still must have been lonely. My life's been lonely enough.
Does that mean Fairy Godmother and I are allowed to become a couple?
At this point, I don't care. You've all earned the opportunity to come to the magical realm with me. I didn't treat any of you right, and yet you stayed. You did your jobs, and you never revealed your secret, as far as I know.
I'd love to return.
As would I.
Katie, what do you want?
I don't know.
I'll give you a week to decide, and then we must leave this world. It's better if we all go at once. I should go. I don't feel totally welcome here.
Fairy Queen exits.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
What am I going to tell Peter?
Well, do you want to stay?
No. I also don't want to leave Peter behind forever. And I've grown tired of using them over all these centuries. I want Peter, this Peter, not his son and not someone else. I want to stay with you. You two have stuck with me longer than anyone else, and I don't want to live the rest of my life without seeing you. Narrator, what should I do?
Call Peter. Ask him to come over.
What else? Do I break up with him? Do I tell him the truth?
I don't know. Just ask him to come over. Spend time with him. Don't do anything else right now.
All right.
Katie did call Peter, and he came rushing right over, fretting at the sound of her anxious voice.
Peter enters.
What's wrong, Peter?
I love you.
I love you too. What's wrong?
Can you stay over for the next week?
I think I can. Why?
I just need you here.
What's wrong?
I don't want to talk about it, but I need you here.
I'll stay here. I need to go home and grab my stuff, but I'll be back.
Peter exits.
He's truly wonderful to you, What are you gonna do?
Keep him with me until the time comes. Then maybe, just maybe, tell him the truth, if the Queen allows it.
We'll see.
Peter enters. Fairy godmother exits.
Peter returned, and as often happens with people like us, 3 days went by like 3 minutes.
Peter and Katie cuddle on the couch.
I can't believe Bill does that all the time.
He thinks it's his job.
So, are you going to tell me what's wrong?
You wouldn't believe me.
You really think that?
That's not reflecting on you.
You live with a man who talks to himself and a woman with fairy wings who claims to have a back problem.
It's stranger.
Really? That's a little hard to believe.
It is. Peter, I don't know about marriage, but do you want to spend the rest of your life with me?
Peter kisses Katie's forehead.
That would be nice.
Even if we could be together forever, no dying or anything?
Even better.
And 4 more days passed even more quickly, Katie getting antsier as it went on.
Fairy godmother enters. Katie and Peter don't move.
Are you okay? Do you need me to go?
No, I need you to stay.
Are you sure?
The doorbell rings.
She's here.
Fairy Queen enters.
Well, Katie Stewart, have you made your decision?
Maybe.
Maybe. I see you've brought your lover here.
Hi. Who are you?
I'll say in my own time.
After all you did, after all you put me through, I made one request. I never told anyone the truth. We all did exactly as you asked. So I asked, can I break this rule one time? Can you let one more of us join you? I've spent my whole life, all of it, wanting to not be alone. Can I tell him? And can I ask that he be given my gift as well?
I think she deserves a happy ending.
As do I. As her narrator, I think that's what this story calls for.
I don't know. It depends on what he wants. You have my permission to tell him.
Peter, do you love me?
Of course.
Do you want to live forever?
Well, I'd certainly like to. That's not possible.
It is.
Katie grabs a knife from the coffee table.
Katie, what are you doing? Katie!
Katie stabs herself in the chest a couple times and then shows Peter the lack of a wound. Peter looks on in shock. He touches the knife's point.
Ow! Is your skin made of armor?
It's just skin.
She places Peter's hand against her chest.
So this is for real.
That's why I always wear wings. They're real. They can't fly, but they're real.
And that's why I narrate everything. I'm the storyteller of Katie's immortal life.
Bill, you're just nuts. But I'm starting to buy the immortality and the fairy thing. Is that how you lived in all those countries? I thought your timeline was a little weird.
You see, she's about to open a portal to a magic land, and we're going there.
Okay. It sounds a little iffy. Can you prove it?
Can you open the portal?
Fine. I'll let him peek in.
Fairy Queen waves her wand, a swishing noise. Peter peeks his head off stage.
Whoa, it's real!
Peter runs back to Katie.
I can get immortality and life in a magical land with you?
If that's what you want, because it's certainly what I want.
Yes, I'll do it. I've never known what I wanted here, and there's nothing for me here other than you. What now?
I'll grant the wish. I think you've earned it by now.
Wish to be immortal, indestructible, and forever young.
I wish I was immortal, indestructible, forever young, and to spend the rest of eternity living happily with you.
Sound like a bell ringing to indicate the wish has been granted.
So, that's it?
That's it.
Peter kisses Katie and grabs her by the hand.
Let's go!
Peter and Katie run off stage together.
Well then, now that I've betrayed most of my principles, maybe I'll get my own happy ending.
Sounds like another tale.
Maybe you'll tell it someday. I'm going home. Go through the portal in the next 5 minutes, or you're stuck here.
Fairy Queen exits.
And so our tale comes to an end. And so do our years of loneliness. Another adventure awaited. Katie on the other side of the portal, one where she and Peter would live happily ever after.
On to the next world.
Yes, my love, where we too get to live happily ever after.
Narrator embraces fairy godmother. Narrator and fairy godmother walk off stage. Blackout. The end.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia, as the judge of the playwriting competition this year. I just wanted to give another round of applause for that cast and for the playwright Allison. Great, so we're just going to have a short talk back, and first, before I forget, just to remind you guys about this little handout that you should have in your program. If you need a pencil, I hear that the ushers have pencils, so I think we'll be able to talk through a couple of these questions, but I just wanted to start out and open it up and see first just things that stood out for people. So moments, characters, impressions that you had, things you can remember, and just sort of open it up to that. And I want to also open it to the cast if there are things that through the process you also did. So feel free to raise your hand. I'll just sort of point to people. Things that really stood out, that drew your attention right away. Moments from we're all still processing. Yeah.
Well, I kept thinking Peter was going to be immortal.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're going to find out that was Peter.
Right. Yeah, and in a way he did have his own immortality too, which is great. Did I see another hand? Yeah.
I very much enjoyed Katie's practicality. Very no nonsense, introducing stuff. I'm immortal, so we go do little things.
Yeah.
Go around
Totally.
killing a dragon, mostly being nice to people and hanging out. Good.
Yeah, she's an incredibly active protagonist, right? Other things, just impressions, feelings that the play gave you. Yeah.
The reaction dialogue was excellent.
Yeah. Absolutely. Other stuff. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Over here.
Yes.
I really liked the line about amphibian friend.
Yes.
I really liked at the end where he just thought Bill was crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, what were some ways that this play subverted our expectations of the normal fairy tale? Obviously, we have that theme happening, but anybody have an example of a moment, or anyone agree with that statement that it feels like it subverted the normal fairy tale? Yeah.
I didn't expect him to go to America.
Yeah.
To the present.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think the play really made that theme very obvious right at the beginning with the stalker comments about the narrator. The fourth wall with the narrator was shattered with a sledgehammer in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, the role of the narrator is this really interesting device, right? Is there someone else? Yes.
She kept dating like Stewart's grandsons and
Yeah.
stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've ever read a fairy tale that breaks it as much as that did.
The princess gets progressively more action-tastic as it goes on.
Yes, yeah, she has a lot of growth in that way. Yeah. She's not just a reactionary female protagonist that we see a lot in fairy tales. Yeah.
The theme of sexual harassment in the workplace is very unusual in fairy tales.
So looking at this sheet, what were some moments that excited or surprised you about the play? Anything that's on your mind? Things that surprised you?
Yeah. It was very normal, like everyday speech, which you don't normally expect from a fairy tale. And it was great, you know, like she had knocked out the prince, and the princess was just like, I'm good. Very normal conversational.
Absolutely. What else? Other things that excited us or surprised us throughout the play? Things we didn't expect.
I was actually surprised that the narrator could break away and tell Peter's story for a brief moment, because I believe that he belonged to Cabe. There was a thread there. And so when he was able to break away, it did make the narrator a little more universal.
Yeah, that's it's a kind of a lovely moment. It's sort of sad and sweet. I agree. It's very unexpected. Other things that surprised or excited us. Yeah. Oh.
Having the characterization of the narrator is kind of interesting to see. It was focused on Katie, but towards the end of the play, you were kind of seeing all these stories kind of come together and complement each other.
Definitely. Yeah.
But very thorough, that there was actually an ending given to the fairy godmother and the narrator, because I mean that's never acknowledged in the fairy tale. They're just kind of taken for granted, and they're left suspended out there forever and ever, and all that happily ever after. They actually got a happily ever after.
Yeah, we all got our happy ending.
Yeah.
What are just some feelings that the play gave? What was the general tone or the feeling that you got just from experiencing this reading? Do you feel the tone of the play? Just words, yeah.
There was hope, even though it was the hopeless fate of immortality.
Yeah. Yeah, hope in the face of hopelessness. Totally. What else? Other feelings? Just the tone of the play?
I don't know if the audience got this, but from where I'm sitting, it was just fun.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
No, it's true. I got your laughter. It's great when you have a play and you can see the cast as you've been enjoying it. Yeah, I would love to open up to you guys as well if there are thoughts that you guys have working on it, general feelings or impressions, things that were exciting to you to work on. Generally, yes.
From a directing perspective, I think that staging the tavern scenes could be really fun, because I think in the periphery you would have, because there's so much line in it anyway, that if you could bring in, I mean, if, you know, the prince and princess in the background, and there could be some various adventure fairy tale shenanigans going on in the background.
Absolutely.
A lot of
Yeah, it was very fun to experience it as a reading aloud, because there's the element of the narrator as well as the element of the stage directions, where there are two separate things going on, and being able to envision it using all the cast was really exciting. The multiple roles played by the cast. Great. So it'd be great to open up to questions. Things on your mind, questions you have after experiencing it. We can open them up to the rest of the audience, or they can be questions that are just questions to listen to. Anything, questions for the actors? Yeah.
If I may just, if not, then I won't ask you. But if I might, the playwright is in attendance, right?
Yeah.
Would you mind if I ask a question?
Generally, we just let the playwright listen, but any question you want to ask can absolutely be asked and put out into the universe. And then later she can choose to answer.
I was wondering if at any point in there, just curious, there was a time when I was very much expecting for there to be something bittersweet or perhaps even tragic, because it seemed like what you did quite wonderfully was subverting the traditional expectations of the fairy tales. What does every fairy tale have? A happy ending. So I'm wondering if at any point in writing this, there was kind of a part in the back of your mind that was like, this might not turn out well.
Yeah, I think that's a great question that we can all think about, and then maybe Allison can answer you later. Other questions, this is great. Stuff like that is great. Stuff for us to think about. Other questions that came up in your mind. I'm a little blind, so you guys can just yell it out, I think, at this point.
I had a question for the actors. At what point in the story would you identify, like, the climax? Yes. Where would you identify this?
That's a great question. You guys have some thoughts? Well, I think the structure is really interesting because in some ways we do have sort of multiple arcs in that way. Yeah, what are some that we can name? I mean, if there's
Well, when I first read it, I thought it was tragic at first because I thought it was going to start as a tragedy because she chose immortality. And I thought the life, loneliness, and watching your friends die and so forth. I thought it was going to begin as a tragedy and end as maybe a fairy tale or some version of that. So I was pleasantly surprised as I read through it. But just the idea, I guess, I was intrigued by the idea that somebody would, choose immortality, and the narrator begins by saying it's going to be a very lonely life. You're going to have love, hundreds of years. It's going to get very lonely. So that intermixed with all of the, I guess, the comedy or the fairy tale or whatever about the story, I think added so much to it. I don't know what the climax, I guess, other than as it proceeded, I was more and more uplifted.
Definitely after Peter's final appearance, that we started getting tied up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking now, I'm wondering if perhaps the whole story is a metaphor for aging and about the fact that you could you may not live a long life, but if you do live a very long life, you might lose people along the way.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's a metaphor for aging.
Yeah, yeah. That's good.
Wonderful.
Other questions? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Got the red light. Yeah. So if we have one or two more questions or thoughts that people want to share. Yeah.
Did the cast audition? Because you have an awesome cast up here.
Danny Grace selected a very funny
Thanks, Mom.
Wonderful. Any final thoughts? Anything? Anybody? Yeah.
I kept, as I was hearing this, I kept thinking anti-fairy tale. And
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
anti-musicals are my very favorite musicals, like Rent, Avenue Q, Hamilton. This would work great as a musical.
That's great.
This
Yeah,
would be
absolutely.
wonderful.
The anti-fairy tale. I love it. Great. Well, one more round of applause for everyone.